gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to look at the bacon tank. Yes, why is it called the bacon tank? Well, of course, because it has streaks of bacon on the end of its gun. It is the lupus, or as some people may want to call it, the poopus. So when this tank was first introduced to the game, to be honest, it was kind of OP. It was very, very, very strong. The turret is very strong. What made it strong is the turret and the fact that it has got an amazing gun depression. It's got amazing gun depression. So the turret is only 140 millimeters, but of course when you use the gun depression that it's got, it is very, very strong, and the hull is 104. But of course, because of the angles of the tank, you can actually get some bounces in this tank, and not a lot of people knew how to deal with the lupus. So 1839 DPM, not the best of DPMs for heavies, and that is a 13.505 second reload. Penetration 175 and 217, so not the best penetrations. When you're coming up against tier 8s, you might struggle against some heavy tanks. It's got 400 alpha on your AP, 340 on your APCR, and 515 on your HE. Aim time, 4.7, not great at all, and the dispersion 0.407, not good at all. But the gun depression has a nice 12 degrees of gun depression, and it goes 36 kilometers per hour. So yeah, on stats, not a great tank, to be honest. It really isn't a great tank now, especially people know how to deal with it. And to be honest, it's quite a rare tank now. This doesn't come for sale often. It does come for sale, but very, very rare. In fact, I can tell you only 171 people have played this tank in the last 90 days. So yeah, that's how much it hasn't been played. But I used to love this tank. I used to absolutely love this tank. In fact, I loved it so much, I was ranked with on number 1. I was ranked number 1 with this tank overall across all servers. So I was the best at playing this tank when it was first introduced to the game. But of course, I don't really play this tank no more. I don't really like the tank anymore. So yeah, I have dropped down. But you have to, for this tank to work, you have to get in the you have to use the gun depression like we are now, because it has a nice 12 degrees of gun depression. If you use that, you will get quite a lot of bounces, just like we're doing here. And I mean, look how much we can actually extend. Oh well, we can't extend that much, but we can extend ourselves on this ridge quite a lot. You can just see here, we're going to go up the ridge. And of course, when you do that, it is very difficult for these tanks to penetrate you. But as soon as you go over and they can see your tank, you're not going to bounce too much, if I'm honest. So we have bounced only 600 damage, which is still good. If we wouldn't have bounced that, we'd be a one-shot right now. I know there's a blaze over there. And this is what I love about this tank. I mean, look, we're on a ridge. We are actually on a ridge, and we are able to get our gun down so much to get that shot off on that tiger. And again, we could do the same for the KV2. Unfortunately, we can't quite get the shot off, but we would have been able to get the gun over. So the best thing is that gun depression and the turret armor, of course, and you need to use that, because that is literally the only way to play this tank. Now, the worst thing about this tank, yes, it has shit gun dispersion, yes, it has shit aim time, DPM, everything like that, but the worst thing about this, it has no gun elevation. So it has 12 degrees of gun depression, which you can look right down, but the gun elevation, you can literally zero. It's not zero, but it might as well be zero, because if anything, if you're aiming your tank down, you won't be able to look up with the gun. And you have to remember that, because that can cost you dearly. That can really cost you if you're not able to get your gun up. You're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. So yeah, if you're on a flat surface and there is a tank in front of you on a ridge, you're not going to be able to get your gun up. But if you're on that ridge, you can get your gun down, because you do have that gun depression. So yeah, that for me is the biggest downfall with this tank. Now, I think we're only just going to win this game. We get very lucky with this Severe. Very lucky that he high rolls there, and we do manage to get the win there. So I mean, it's I used to enjoy the tank. I really did enjoy the tank, but back then, no, like I said, no one knew how to deal with the tank. No one knew how to deal with it. No one knew about the gun depression or anything like that. And when you are using that gun depression, it's super strong. So we're going to have one more game here. If you're in the open on this, like, try to not be in the open. If you've got tanks like the E5, something like the E5 or the Concept 1B, especially the Concept 1B, because the Concept 1B is only good on a ridge because of the turret. So if you have got one of those tanks, then you'll sort of know how to play this tank. You have to find a ridge. If you don't find a ridge, you're just going to get obliterated by anything that comes in your way. So you can see here, I mean, we do luckily get, he does miss us, and we do get a nice turret shot into that EXP, but we struggled. There was literally just a section, just a tiny section that we could pen, but luckily for us, he wasn't moving and we was able to get the pen. But no more, he is moving and we won't be able to. With the accuracy on this thing, the aim time, it's going to be very difficult to be able to get that shot off. And again, there didn't have the time, so we do move forward and just go into a bit of cover. So now we just need a side scrape. I mean, you can get bounces, of course you can get bounces when you side scrape. We don't want to extend ourselves too much. We do want to get that shot into the KV there to bring him down. So he is now a one shot, and we are going to poke forward, but he does get deleted before we get there. And you can see, like, we're not penning him. I wanted to ignore the EXP there because the only bit I can go for is that bit of his turret, the edge of his turret. And as I've said, once you're not in that hold down position, you're going to get penetrated by almost everything. You will get bounces from some medium tanks, of course. They won't be able to penetrate you. But here, look, I mean, we're on a ridge line. We're on a ridge, and we're still able to get our gun down enough to get the bottom plate of that shark there. And that is how you have to play this tank. You have to find a ridge. You have to find a ridge. Like this E2 now, the only thing he'll be able to see is our turret. And yeah, there are weak points about the turret. Of course, there's weak points on the turret. But if you're moving backwards, sideways, etc., you will be able to get bounces. And you can see we want to take care of the shark. I don't really care about this KV4 right now. Yes, we are getting penetrated, but my main target was to clear the tanks. As I always say in my videos, I don't care about damage. I don't care at all. I play for the win. I play for the win, not just for me, but for my team as well. Yeah, some people are out there and they're like, yeah, wins don't matter to me. I've got so many battles. A win doesn't affect my win rate. Yeah, but it affects your team's win rate. You know, just because you've got a lot of battles doesn't mean your team has. And why be selfish just because you want to up your average damage? Why be selfish in upping your average damage for your team's win? So I'm always playing for the win, and I'm always trying to clear the tanks. If there's a one shot and there's a full shot, I would always go for the one shot, and that's what we did there. So a nice victory, very nice victory indeed. We didn't get much damage, but overall it definitely is an okay tank. It's underplayed, definitely is underplayed. We still managed to break 2,000 average damage in it, and I've still got 84% win rate in this tank. But as you can see, even in 38 battles, I've only aced this tank once. I think I've actually aced it more, but that was before they started recording these aces. So I have aced it more. So yeah, if this tank does come available, it doesn't come for available for too expensive, to be honest. If it does come for cheap, then it definitely is worth picking up. It is an ugly ass looking tank, but yeah, it's a unique tank, that's for sure. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Today's video, the bacon tank, because look at that turret. It looks like 2 streaks of bacon just slapped on the end of it. It does look funny. It does look funny indeed. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.